All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Please, if you are there and you have joined us either on Facebook or on YouTube, please, please let us know that you are there. I'm going to keep checking and tracking to see if people have joined. And then momentarily, I will just read out your comments that you're making. But I just want to check who has joined, who is participating. And for those of us who have joined already, I'm sure you may have your questions. Feel free to start sending those questions through. We'll keep reading the, the platforms so that we can all be on the same wavelength. But I'd just like to welcome all of you, those who are currently with us online, and those who will be coming later to join us, maybe by watching this after we have finished doing it. All right, let me just welcome. Yes, Nzoto, can you hear me well?
Lonwabo.
Good evening. Good evening. Your good afternoon. Good afternoon, Trobam. Are you okay?
I'm well.
Yes, yes.
Uvuyani unjani yena?
Khuluka siyaphila Nzotho ngiyaphila nani.
uKristu ligugu.
Oh, oh,
Amen.
oh, oh,
Thank you
oh.
very much.
Thank
Amen.
you.
I'm
Amen.
gonna buy the ticket this I think tomorrow
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
for a function, yeah.
yes. No, we are already live, Nzoto. We are already live, and there has been quite a lot of people who wanted to really participate in this program. Everybody who commented. Last night, I attended a couples event somewhere here with my wife, and then people were talking about the importance of the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And so, and I really appreciate your presence. I just want to advise those people at home who are watching us online on Facebook as well as YouTube. We're beaming this thing live. It's been a long time since we last had our chat, but I'm glad that we're back today with people that I highly respect, guys that are making a huge impact in the society that we're in now. And I know that we're all going through the load shedding. It's a very, very bad 4 hour long load shedding. But we are not going to spend time complaining about that. And, we just going to do with it what we can, because so many of us complain and complain, but complaint doesn't always solve problems. We are aware that there are people out there whose job it is to address these problems. We just pray and trust that ultimately this problem will be resolved. But welcome to my colleagues and to my guests right here. We have Uvuyani Buwe, who is many things. He's a pastor. He is now at work, actually, providing service delivery to our communities, and we also, and he's doing a lot of things. I'm sure many of us know what he's doing, and then we're not going to spend a lot of time just like we did the last time, where we delve deeper into their past history. But I will give you a chance, just to say a little bit about yourself, and then we move into this thing. And then the second one is Tando Melane, who is a pastor, businessman. He's also so many things. He's a motivational speaker. Both of them, actually, they are. And
he's an author.
And exactly. An author as well. So Dr. Zondi contacted me earlier on. As you know, we're going through load shedding, and he indicated that he is battling with that, and it affects his connectivity. So he might join us momentarily, or if he can't, then we'll just excuse him. But someone sent me a message when they saw the poster, and Usizo she said to me, "Hey, Uzondi, I used to work with him, University of Natal. I think Natal Technicon. I think he was working there then, and I'm sure Usizo was looking forward to seeing him here. But look, some other things are just beyond our control. I can see that people are joining, and we just want to make sure that everybody is here. Gentlemen, just let's start with you.
It already started.
Okay, let's start with you, Gqwirha. Just briefly, for the people that have never seen or heard you, just briefly, and then we come to you, Wenanzoto, Pastor Melanie, so that you can just briefly say a few things about yourself. And then I'm going to ask you the second question after both of you have done this, which is where you are now in your ministry, in your work, either studying, I don't know what you're doing. What is really exciting you? What are you busy with that's exciting you now that you want to share with people? And then we can move into our topic. Let's start with you, Gqwirha.
Thank you so much, Kakeni. As mentioned, good afternoon, Nzoto as well. As mentioned, I am Vuyani Buwe, Gqwirha, married to Zugiswa. We pastor a church in New Crossroads. It's 12 years now. And yeah, briefly, we are passionate about all things family and marriage. I'm a marriage officer. I do a lot of pre and post-marital counseling as well. Yeah, yes, our heart and hearts of hearts, you know, are in the dungeons, you know, in the dungeons of dark despair of God's people who are held captive. And the only tool which has been trustworthy and that is reliable is the word of God and Christ being the head, you know, and that is in a nutshell. If you remove Christ, all of the things I have mentioned, then we are nobody.
Thank you so much. Nzot, let's come to you.
Yes, my name, as you can see on the screen, is Thando Melane. I am married to a very beautiful lady, Kimukhuera, we're blessed with 2 children. I am pastoring a church called Destined for Greatness in Cape Town City, just 4 blocks away from Parliament. I'm really passionate about people. My purpose is people, empowering, guiding, helping people to discover who they are, their destiny, connecting people. Yeah, anything that is people is, and yeah, that's just me in a nutshell.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that. Now we have a little bit of understanding of who we are going to be listening to as viewers out there at home. Now, Thando, you are an author. You came out with the book. Just tell us about briefly that. And secondly, what apart from the book, is there anything that really is exciting? What are you busy with a project that's exciting that you feel like you want people to know about? And then after that, we come to Upuwe.
Yeah, I think I mean, my excitement is actually spreading the book as much as I can. Um, I'm going to companies, I'm going to government departments, and I've gone to few churches. Amazingly enough, I haven't gone to much churches.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what is coming. I'm doing wisdom sessions from the month of June. I'll be doing wisdom sessions for the 21-year-olds to the 35s. July, I'm doing a wisdom session for leaders with Morris Khatebe. Um,
Mhm.
August, I'm doing wisdom sessions for women in education.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm
So,
looking
what is the
forward
book?
to.
What is the name of the book, and how can people get it?
Is it not this one that is behind you?
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, the
I
name
want you to tell
of
people.
yes, the name of the book is um. Yo, I'm in my study and I
Limited.
don't have my book in the study. Wisdom Principle.
Limited.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to show it.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
I? I'll show it
Yeah.
as we at the end.
Yeah.
Wisdom
Okay.
Principles for Daily Living.
Yes. Okay. All right. All right. And people can get that from you. Well, anything that's exciting you at this point?
My major excitement, Kajeni, are the two
Mm,
drug support groups
yeah.
that are running that we've established in Kukuletu
Okay.
in response to the scourge of drug and
Mm,
substance abuse.
mm-hmm,
That is one of my major excitements. The
mm,
second excitement is we have discovered that a number of mothers
mm,
are falling into depression because their
mm,
children are into drugs. They are not
mm,
able to cope, and there is no supporting mechanism, and there are
mm,
no organizations that actually delve into that space to deal
mm.
with the mother of an addict. My wife,
Yes.
being a mother of an addict, was convicted to start a
Mm,
support group for mothers of addicts. We are
mm,
in the process of launching that initiative.
mm-hmm,
It's going to be a interdenominational, it's going to be open to women of all walks of life who have
mm-hmm,
children who are suffering,
mm.
who are held captive by addiction,
Yeah.
so that women can get to have a space to be debriefed, to be supported, to be encouraged. We
Mm.
will have people who specialize in the human psyche,
Yes.
and who can be able to assist women,
Mm,
while we do the spiritual part. Somebody needs to do, the clinical part. So we will be launching that very, very soon. We'll be announcing the dates,
okay.
and I think the last one is the fact that I've gone back to university. My daughter has just told me she now has a reason,
Mm.
to fail. And when I ask her, what does she mean she now has a reason to fail? She says,
Mm.
if my sponsor can fail, then I qualify to fail as well. So I never thought I'll be in university with one of my children. It's exciting
Wow.
times. Yeah.
All right, all right. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so you both are dads and fathers, parents, not just to your own biological children, but to children in general. And today we are going to be talking about the responsibilities of raising sons or boys, as we all know that this is a major, major topic, not just in our country, but just around the world. And so today we just want to talk about what does it mean? What does it mean? What are those responsibilities? Um, Now, before we get into that, let's just talk about why is it that we have to focus on the boys? Last time we met, we were talking about fathering girls, all right? And
Mm.
for those people that have just joined us, don't think we discriminate against girls. We started with them last year. And then there was a lot of people saying we need to bring in the women to be talking about those issues. We're going to do that as well, so that we can have both perspectives on how to raise girls and how to raise our sons. So, gentlemen, what are the key differences that necessitate that we between these two, between boys and girls, that necessitate that we need to talk about raising boys? Whoever wants to go first, and any key differences that come to your mind. Tando, you've got a boy and a girl. They grow in front of you. Any key differences that you see, where you see, hey, God, this boy needs this kind of responsibility, which might be different, and so do you. Who wants to
Yeah,
go first?
I think yes. We need to talk about boys because we are the bigger ones first.
What do you mean?
We are the bigger boys.
Oh, Tina.
Yes. Tina.
Okay.
And I think the second one is that I'm off the school of thought that there's a difference between girls and boys. Okay. I find that like the boy I have here, he's more physical in approach. He likes playing with his dad, uh, um, strangling his dad, and is physical. And also, we have to talk about boys because boys are looking up to their dads, just like I was looking up to mine, with many dynamics into it. Even if he was not there, but there's a sense in which I was looking up to him. And I think also we have to deal with boys because we now in a sphere, not only a sphere, but we now in a phase where we are afraid. I mean, if you are walking and there are no people around you, what you expect is that you will see a male coming towards you, not a female necessarily. And the list goes on and on into that. So there's every need. There's most above all a cry about the boy child. And if we do not relate with a boy child, we are digging ourselves to a grave that's gonna be very hard to get out of it. So those are my thoughts as to why should we be dealing with boys.
Okay. Just before we get to you, Bue, I just want to check because I understand that people are struggling to see on Facebook, but on my device here, it's showing on Facebook. And, so if there's anyone who's struggling, just let me know. Um, you know,
My family is struggling.
are they struggling? All
Yeah.
right. All right. So I'm sure you the event. I think it's on my device here. Unless there's a
Are
mistake
you
that I'm making.
are you
All
on
right.
your own Facebook,
Yes.
Kajen?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm also not picking you up as live.
It looks like where good things happen, we cannot pick you up in Cape Town.
Oh. Okay. I don't know what could be happening. Um, all right. So let me just. Okay. Ask them to check now and let me know what's going on as we go to you, Dwecha, because I've just, yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. There is a difference between boys and girls, and I may not tell you the specifics of their differences,
Yes.
you know. But one notable difference, I frame it this way,
Yeah.
is that hell and the devil have declared war on the boy child.
Mm.
And because hell has an inclination of what God's intention is for the boy child.
Mm.
When you look at the hierarchy of God for the family, He
Mm.
places the man as the head and the priest and the prophet of the household.
Mm.
So that difference alone has made the devil to declare war on the male child. You don't have to
Mm.
take my word for it. You can go
Mm.
and check every institution of incarceration,
Mm.
every prison, every drug rehab, every street corner. You
Mm.
know, you will see boy children, and the devil wants to cut them in their prime so that
Mm.
they never realize what God had for them. They never get to see,
Mm.
the purpose that they have in God's grand master plan.
Mm.
So that is the difference,
Mm.
and the grand failure of men across the world and across Africa and in South Africa at the moment. You
Mm.
look at every failure, be it in government, parastatal, and everything, it has a man involved. Now, that is an emulation. That is what boys are seeing. That
Mm.
is what boys are exposed to.
Mm.
And in fact, if boys are a product of their socialization,
Mm.
let's look at that socialization and tell you and say or declare that
Mm.
war has been declared against the boy child.
Mm. 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 All right. All right. All right. All right. Wow. Um, Gentlemen, I think you've sketched the whole thing quite well, and I'm just trying to address this issue of Facebook. Um, uh, that it is not showing because there are a number of people there on Facebook, you know. So what I'm going to do, I really don't know what to do, to be able to address this issue. What I'm going to do is maybe try and change the scheduling time. Uh, yeah, but what I've done, I've just sent through to them the link because I see you, Amanda Vuba is also saying nothing is showing on Facebook, and I don't know what we can do about that. There are two options. One is for us to get out and come back again, and then make sure that we are linked to that as well. Okay. I have actually shared, Nelly, thank you so much for that. I've shared the Facebook link. I've shared the YouTube link on my Facebook page. So just tell them that they can just go to my Facebook page. They're going to see the YouTube link that is there, and then they can come here. There is a link. I've just shared it now. It's strange because I can see it here on Facebook, but I don't know what is going on. Why is it that it is not showing? All right. So please ask your people to do it there on Facebook. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove it and put it back again. We were just moving quite nicely well, and then this thing is disappointing me now. But anyway, we'll try and make whatever we can out of this thing. But there are people that are here. Now, gentlemen, this issue that we're talking about, we've just been blindsided by this technology, but let's get back to the main thing. So you've sketched the differences that indeed there is a need for us to talk about this matter. The boys under tremendous amount of pressure. And I read that many boys are struggling academically, they're struggling with suicides, they're struggling with drugs and all sorts of things, car accidents, and all of those kinds of things are really affecting our boys. That makes it very, very important that now and then we need to talk about how do we raise independent boys who are strong enough to make good decisions, who are going to make a positive contribution to society. What are the necessary ingredients for that kind of a boy to be produced without taking away their own decision making? But from a parenting point of view, how do we do that? What are these roles that we need to ensure that we play? Who wants to go first?
I don't. Firstly, let me declare that I know that we're not coming here as experts.
Yeah.
On how to raise boys, and we're not coming here as perfect people who have had it all perfect.
But we're all trying to figure this thing out together.
Yes, and we're coming as sojourners, trying to listen to God, listen to others, listen to our boys. I think for me, the something that I struggled with for a long time, I'm not out of it 100%, is that I'm raising a boy having not had someone that I've looked up to who has raised me. And so most of the times I have not been sure whether I'm doing something right or wrong. And I have discovered that because we have sessions quite in our family where we life-giving sessions where we speak about the positives in a person and the developmental areas that we've identified as different individuals within the family. And I'm always amazed how my son would give a feedback of how of a good father I am, and how I am there for him. You know, he says to me the other day, I'm picking him up from school with a group of his friends. And my son is an introvert. He is those guys who spoke when he is spoken to, who speak when he's spoken to. And he says to me, I just want to tell you how grateful I am about you being my father and being there in my life. Because you see where I was standing right now, where you have picked me up from. We had a conversation about fathers, and I noticed that 90% of the people I was standing there, they don't have fathers in their lives. That kind of took me aback, because I have not been 100% sure at times that what I'm doing is the right thing, or how would it land on him. But that was I mean, I'm just quoting one thing, but just many of them into that instance, and that I derive this strong sense that Bue was speaking about also, that that there is a cry for boys to have fathers, people that they can look up to. Never mind how would they pan out or who they would pan out to be, but that cry is a cry that, and I see it even in with elder men like us. There's a cry for boys to have a relationship with their fathers. And I'm saying that the first thing that we need to develop is a relationship with our boys as fathers. Not only our biological boys, but any boy that comes in your sphere. That boy is looking for a father figure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Kajen. You are saying, how can we raise independent boys? You know, and independence is found in dependence.
Wow.
I'm saying exactly what Ukajeni is saying. I'm saying it differently. The confidence to be independent is structured, it is built, it is honed, it is nurtured in dependence. And when you have mastered dependence, independence comes easily, because the first part of being dependent has been introduced, has been inculcated into the child. You know, immediately when it's like taking a boy at 18, sending him to the bush, ayogoluka, and you are expecting that event to make him a man. And in fact, dependence should have been built. You know, communication should have been built. He should have. We are a product of our socialization. You know, so raising independent children start with us being there, being involved, you know, and then independence is a byproduct of dependence. The confidence to be independent comes from being dependent. It is that dependency, you know, on somebody older that makes you to want to be independent, because the assurance has been made, the self confidence has been built. You know, so it is very, 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 very important, you know, that there's an intentionality. There's an intentionality, even when as a man you speak to your wife. Realize if your children are around, you are having a lesson of what it is or how it is to speak to a woman. There's an intentionality. It is a daily intentionality of a life that means this must be emulated. You know, it could be minor decisions, minor things that some people would think are frivolous, like promising kids to take them somewhere. You know, and you don't deliver on that. To you, that may be the church is more important, work is more important. A gig came up and I had to go into that gig, and this gig is going to bring money and put food on the table. You know, so you would think children should not hold you to account for that. It is those small things, you know, that actually determines what kind of independence is going to manifest in that child's life.
Sure. Wow. Hey, gentlemen, I think you've hit in the heart of this matter, because What Tando you were saying earlier on is that your son spoke to you, and when he spoke to you those words, to quote to what Gwecha is saying, is because you were there for you to hear that and for him to say that. So you were present. And then, so he gave you the feedback. But what Gwecha is also talking about is that of intentionality on the part of the parent. Now, we all know that not all families have a mother and a father in the same house. There are family situations where children stay with their mother or grandparents, whatever the case may be, and the father or the parent is not there. Sometimes there are situations where the former, it could be through divorce, it could be through separation, but there's a fight between these two people that prevents the father from seeing the child. So how can this matter be dealt with by both the mother involved and the father involved in this situation? You are pastors, and maybe these things do come up now and then. How can those issues be dealt with to ensure that the child is not deprived of one parent by another parent?
Maybe to take it further, Kajeni, what does a mother do when a father is not even bothered by having a relationship with his child? And she constantly has to answer as to the whereabouts of her father, who is not 10,000 kilometers away, not even 10 kilometers away, in the same township. What does a mother do? And it is unfair, it is unbecoming to expect that a mother can both be a mother and a father to a child, because there is a need for a boy to have a male connection. There is a need for a boy to have a male connection. As Gajeni's, as Nzoto's boy was saying, that they have their own discussions and they evaluate the role of their fathers, and they brag.
Gentlemen, are you there?
I'm here. I don't know what happened with.
Okay. Okay. Can you take it forward, Game Club, and then
Yes.
I think he's going to come back.
Yes,
Was that load shedding?
Oh, okay. You're back now.
I don't know what happened. The screen just went blank.
Okay.
Yeah, you can finish the point where you were saying it's unfair for one to the mother,
Yes,
for this guy to not be involved.
exactly. Now, children have their own idea, have their own interpretation of what a father ought to be and what he ought to do. And these are the discussions that they have. That's why they will come back and say, according to my evaluation on the expectation of fatherhood, you are doing well. You are doing well. It is let it be a design that is beyond your doing as a mother when the father chooses to not be there, and not close that door, because it is a need for a boy to have a male figure available in his life. I am glad my generation and your generation, we had grandfathers who stepped into the role. My father died when my mother was 35. 35 years of age. My father passed on, and my grandfather literally moved into our house.
Wow.
Left his family, moved into our house, literally. He raised us until Sayentabini, and we came back. And when we were done, he said, I've done what I could. Now I can go back and retire. So to answer your question, it is not even when the father refuses to step up to the plate and take care of his responsibility, maybe surround your children's lives and the family life with positive role models within the family who can be those lights, who can be those influences. They may not consistently be there, you know, but form partnership with positive male figures who will impart nuggets of life into him, nuggets of manhood into him, you know, so that he gets the sense of what it is to be a man.
Okay. Zot, well, thank you so much, Gqeberha. Wow, those are powerful, men. And I'd like to invite our people to please ngena ndiyambona ubabalwa nathi futhusi. You sang so well last night wena Mapayeni. Thank you so much. Luthando Ndabambi, I see you. Mtande Siphokazi Lwaninga Sebenza. I think Facebook is now back on. Nanku Ugama Lonwabo Goliath. Good to see you, man. Afternoon, Katyeni, and your guests, man. Again, we're saying afternoon to you. We're sorry to those of you who joined us from Facebook. We thought we were live. We got to hear later on that we were not. Apologies for that. Nagundigo Amanda Amish. Hi, Amish. How are you doing? Bulisa Pekaya, and you've got boys there as well. And please, parents who are out there, mothers, fathers, uncles, share your own thoughts on this topic. We are not experts here. You know, we are not experts. I think Tando put it very, very well. We are all trying to figure out how do we doing this thing. Our nation and the world has to deal with this matter of raising boys that are going to be positive contributors to society. Tandos, you wanted to come in. It's your turn now.
Yeah, one few things that we need to do in addressing that absent relationship that the mother get to be entrusted to play with. I think we have to be deliberate as men to what I call parenting across. Okay, that Thando Melane should not be looking to his boy only. Thando Melane should be looking to other boys that are friends with his boy or whatever at whatever a place that a person can find himself in. So in other words, let's not look at our own only, but also let's challenge. This is where I think some of us or most of us as men we're not cutting it. I do know that Pet is not doing anything in terms of building a relationship with his son. And I don't say anything about that. I think we should be challenging other men to take the responsibility of, we should confront them more than confront, to take the responsibility of fathering their sons.
Did you say? Sorry, Nzoto. Did you say carefront for them? What a word!
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, it's beautiful, man. Carefront. Yes.
So
you have to unpack that one.
Yes. So in other words, I come to this man and I say, "Sir, I think you, with love, you're doing us a disfavor. You are developing a criminal here, someone who's going to be violent, and in generations to come. It is your responsibility to take care of this man. And if you are struggling, I'm here to help you along." Okay, so let's address that. Let's not leave women alone into addressing those particular things. Okay, of raising the boy. So I'm saying, firstly, let's father across, let's confront. And I'm saying, thirdly, also, we need to affirm those women that are trying to raise boys, whether be it our sisters, our friends, or anything like that, because they've been entrusted with the responsibility that they didn't ask for.
Mm.
Okay, so we need to be affirming about that. And the last one, we need to take it upon ourselves that we affirm every boy that we meet in the best way that the boys would know how to be affirmed. You do know that in my book, I've got a section where I talk about life-giving conversations. And
Conversations.
part of life-giving conversation, I have had to learn that when I find my boy, or whoever for that matter, the context now is my boy, when I find him doing a wrong thing, like this week, I was just furious because he's not coming up to speed with something. And I told him, listen, what you are doing it's not right. It's not right. I've been talking about this every time, and you are not doing anything about it. It is wrong. You need to change. And if you're not changing, I'm going to force you to change. But I had to finish that the following day and spend more time affirming him. That one, I'm saying this because I love you. Two, I'm saying this because I want you to be better than me. But I just want you to know that my love for you is not based on what you are doing. My love for you is based on who you are. And I love you, and I know that you can do better. So I cannot leave the what I'm concerned about it and let it be the only thing that I am saying to him. I have to pour in his emotional bank, in his emotional tank. I have to leave something that says to him, he matters and he can do better.
Wow. Gentlemen, I think you're giving us really powerful bombs here. Stuff that we can work with, things that we can do. I see Utandeka Daki is here. Uneli Josi is here. Hi, Nelly. His boy was in the mountain with my boy. Amanda Vuba, thank you so much for joining us. We also have Uleta Ulizomgongo is watching. Uyabulisa uLonwabo Goliath ugama lowo. Umaleshwane Tabang is watching. Unozipho Mwalosi is also watching. Tafix Fikeni is watching. Uthi Umaleshwane Ntate Thabo, what's the name of your book and where do we get it? This is profound. You said you were going to get the book, and then as we go to the end, and then you will just say that again. There it is. You know, no? Okay, yes, there it is. Key Wisdom Principles for Daily Living. That's the name of the book. And we are going to give later the issue of how you can get it. Unozipo is back, who's saying, boy affirmation, very important and needed in this generation. Indeed, it is needed in this generation. There are so many nuggets that we are hearing here. Things like, parenting across, care fronting, life-giving conversations. And Tando, I know, whenever you phone me or I phone you or you come here or we meet, you always ask about my kids. You always want to speak to my boy and girl. And I really appreciate that because what you are saying is what you do. It may not be a long conversation, but when you are here, they know that this guy cares about us. And what you are saying now is that this is what we need to do as men right across. I don't know whether you wanted to say something else, Bue, and then before I can get to my next question.
The question is raising independent boys.
Yeah.
I don't want us to babysit boys too much.
Yeah.
We also need to visit the other side because the boy child can wallow in a sea of nothingness in the midst of busyness. He can be blind when there are many things that are in plain sight. You know, my now 16-year-old heard about his
Oh,
elder brother driving, and he wanted to drive as well.
yes.
So I said to him, no, follow me, Tlaha, that is not a problem. Just follow me, let's go to your room. And he was confused, you know. What do you mean? I mean, the cars are standing outside. I'm asking you to teach me to drive, and you are saying, let's go to my room. You know, and I said, no, you'll get the point. Let's just go to your room. I opened the door, and the first thing up behind the door was socks, it was shoes, it was shirt, there was a plate, there was a knife, and there were books all over the show. The wardrobe was a mess. And I said to him, if anybody would come into this room and ask you, does the owner of this room care about his own things? The answer was, no, Dad, I can, the owner, the person would say the owner of the room does not care about his own things. You know, then I said to him, I will wait for you then to show me that you are responsible for your own space.
Yeah.
Then that will tell me that you are ready for serious responsibilities.
Wow.
And we need for the boy child to be taught to earn his stripes. If everything is placed before him, remember God's original plan in the book of Genesis. Before God could give the man a wife, he gave him his presence. Adam knew what it is to be with God without having a woman. He knew the presence. That is why when sin had befallen them, Adam ran away, and he could describe the presence. He said, we heard your voice and we ran away, because he had spent time with God without the woman. Secondly, before he was given a wife, he was given work and authority over the land to plow and produce. This was before he could be given a woman. And when he could master these two things, he was given authority to even name the animals in the garden before he was given the animals, before he was given a wife. And when he was given a wife, he had known the presence. He had understood what his mandate was to produce, to produce from the land. And thirdly, he had authority. The intentionality comes in us understanding the purpose of God in creating this being, so that we raise him according to who he ought to be in the future. And these things of him earning his stripes raises in him a culture that says nothing is going to be placed before me, you know, without me sweating for it. He needs to earn his stripes. Number two, he needs to be somebody who respects authority. And that little authority of a household, you take out the refuse bin, you make sure you do the dishes. That should be done in such a way that if he doesn't do it, he knows that the wrath of God is going to be upon him. I'm not saying that, you know, the way it means. I'm just saying, it is those small decisions or nuggets of authority being introduced into him that begins to shape him as somebody who is going to give authority or be an authority figure in his own home. And this is where you see all the styles and all the manipulations and all the kinds of things that come out, you know, because it's not easy to teach them authority. And authority means you hold him to account. You hold him to account. For an example, I don't give money when my kids go to school. They must carry a lunchbox. On Fridays, you get a treat. But that treat you get on Friday, so that you don't carry a lunchbox, you build up by your behavior during the week to qualify for a Friday treat, that on Friday you will not be able to take money, you'll be able to get money, you know, to carry to school. You know, so I just wanted to drop those so that when people are listening, they're not thinking all we are saying here we need cushions and gloves to hold this person. You know, I wanted
Yes.
to come from another angle as well.
No. I think you're spot on, because it links very well with what Pastor Milan was saying, where he was holding his son accountable for behavior, but at the same time, the following day, he came in to just say the positive, just to balance. So what I think you're
Yeah.
saying is that we must hold boy children to account, and I think maybe we need to spend a bit of time here in terms of how do mothers do this, because, or any parent for that matter, who is looking after the child alone, because there is evidence to show that some parents overcompensate by providing, by coolly cuddling this boy or this child because the other parent is not there. So let me make an example. I once attended a meeting. I was still in Cape Town, here in Soweto, here in Johannesburg, in Sentin. And so I met up with a lady who was looking at me reading a book on boys or something. And then she was interested. So we had a chat. She was a senior manager at SARS in Pretoria. And what she said to me, she says he had divorced with the father of his two boys. But because the father of the two boys, when these boys go there to him, he gives them freedom. They can do anything, because he goes away and leave them there. Now, when they got to doing standard 10 or grade 12, he allowed them. There was this big party where alcohol was served. It was bad. And so now the younger one wanted to do that with the mom. So the mom found that I might as well just give in. At least they are going to drink alcohol. I'm here in my house. They're not going to go out there. So how do we help parents with the capacity and the skill to hold their children accountable and not to overcompensate, even when the other parent is just a laissez-faire, free-for-all kind of person?
They say discipline that is built without the undergirded love leads to rebellion. Okay, so there must be a strong sense of love when we discipline. Okay. Now that's the first thing. The second thing is this: discipline by its nature is uncomfortable from the discipliner to the one who's disciplined. So let's not expect a good feeling when we discipline. And I guess that's why we're running away from it, because there's that strong sense where you feel uncomfortable, that should I do this? What if it turns bad and everything like that? So let's not wait. It's just like prayer. If you wait for a feeling to pray, it will never come. That you discipline because it is discipline is part of life. Okay. So you discipline with that feeling of uneasiness. Okay. So when you say wake up and wash the dishes, even if you were sleeping, there's not going to be a feel good on both parties about this. But it must be done. Okay? Because you're not helping this particular person if you are not doing that. So I find that most of the time, there's a book, Dare to Discipline, that disciplining.
Dr. James Dobson,
yes.
I've got it.
Yes, disciplining is daring. So part of me as a parent, I must be able to be daring. Okay, so with that, David says in the book of Psalms, satisfy us in the morning with your goodness, with the same measure that you have disciplined us with.
Mm.
Okay? So the measure of discipline must be equated with the measure of love. I'm very strong on this. These things are twins.
Mm.
We should not leave another one on top of another one. We
Love.
do that because I come from an environment where it is to show that you love your child, you must discipline, and it ends there. There's never a form of showing of love, and when you are shown love, it's one of those things you should know it should happen. There's no affirming, there's no acknowledging in it. But I think I've come to notice and to observe, because I'm a father, I'm observing other fathers.
Yeah.
There seems to be a good son when the father has got a relationship with the son, and there seems to be a psychological security when there's discipline, when the son knows that my father loves me. There's a psychological security there. And that balance must be kept at all times. As Bua is saying, that balance must be kept at all times. We should be daring to discipline, but we should be daring also to be loving. And by the way, what we are required to do is to love at all times. Discipline does not come on daily basis. Okay? It does not come on daily basis. So we should be doing the both.
Okay, all right. Wow. Uthi apha Amanda Vuba nuggets. Uthi uNelly Josi powerful mfundisi. Nanku unonkumbuzo ngalonkulu. Very informative mfundisi. We need a series in this topic. Once off is not enough. Yes, we hear you there. And I promise that we'll come back to it at a much more regular basis this time, this year, because this is a very, very important issue. And I just want to acknowledge also other people that have joined here. Uti Apa Olerato Kamata is watching. Hey, Lira, good to see you. Umkosinati Taso is watching. Umkosinati comes back to say, Amen, Befundis Bam could not miss this for anything. This is hitting the raw nerve, gentlemen. And this is what happened also last year when we were discussing the girl child, because these are the issues that we as parents are dealing with. Many of us are not equipped, are not being able to discuss. There are no platforms to discuss these matters. And so, Joyce Nzuta is watching. Congratulations, Sis Joyce. I heard the good news from the grapevine of the graduation. And then Nanku Audrey Tamza. Hey Tam, good to see you. Dikona Kajeni. Uyabuya wakona Unkosnati Kaso Uti. I can relate in a balanced manner, as in September 2021. You mesmerized me on the girl child and my role as a father. You see, people were there when we're discussing these matters. Nanku Ukuselo Ntuboy Mini, good to see you, man. Alvin Masarira. Hey, Alvin, how are you doing? I was taught the value of earning my stripes by my mother from an early age. At that time, it seemed like she was being harsh on me. I'm very grateful for the lessons today. I thank the Lord for Umam Kwashu. Indeed, mothers sometimes are not acknowledged enough, especially single mothers who are raising boys when they themselves do not understand fully a boy child, and they are doing it. Maleshwane is back. Drops mic. Sevuyani. Kwabizandla apho uthi uMakhiwane Ulinda is watching. Uloyiso Sizwe Mosi is watching. Good to see you people. Ubaba Mgolombane, powerful pastor. Wonderful, Sisi Yabulela. Uzikhona Dweza Mfakadolo is watching. Yabuya wakhona Ubabalwa Mgolombane uthi strong sense of love when we discipline. That's important. Did we just lost to Tando? Uyabuya kwakhona unkosinathi chaso uthi so true. Pastor Melanie, discipline is uncomfortable both ways. I love it when you normally say, let's be intentional. And this word of intentionality is a word that you used also earlier on when
Yes.
yeah, you use that word because, and it sounds from what you are saying, you know, that you, as a parent, you don't just let things happen and become passive. So if a person, especially a man, is busy, you're now joining from your workplace, you're a busy person. How do we make time for this thing? Where do we find the time? Secondly, where do we get the information, the capacity to do these kinds of things? Because not all of us are equipped. How can you help us?
Time can never be enough. We will never have enough time. I am of the firm view that we make time for those things that are dear to us, or those things that we perceive to be valuable to us. And that is where the issue of parenting falls by the wayside. Because we are of the view, if the bond is paid, the school fees are paid, there's food in the fridge, parenting is done.
Oh,
you know,
hey,
and
the,
yeah, you see, when bills are paid and fees are paid, the bond is paid, and food is in the fridge, that speaks to the fleshly needs. You know, there are things that are intellectual. There are discussions that are life-changing that need to happen. There are life lessons. As a father, you are a walking diary of the things that have happened to you, of the mistakes that you have made. You know, and all the faults that you have done. That is God giving you an opportunity to share with your boy your pitfalls, so that when he does fall into those spaces, and that does not need 10 years, that requires of you to have moments of connection. This thing of not having time and not having time is for me, it's an injustice, because we will always have time to go and bury whoever we have to bury. We will travel to the length and breadth, you know, of this country to make sure we officiate weddings, to make sure that we chair meetings of the church and everything. And those things, because you must remember, the future church is sitting in your house.
Sure.
And the future elder is sitting in your house watching you. The future pastor is sitting in your house. The girl you are raising is someone's husband that you are molding. Someone's wife. The boy you are raising is someone's father, is someone's husband. And when I say I don't have time, I am discrediting him from becoming the best version of himself.
Sure.
Or at the very least, giving him the guidance that I can give, you know, to contribute in him, you know, and our presence. I once said in our previous webinar that we have the ability of being absent in our presence.
Hey, say that again.
We can be emotionally unavailable while in the same house.
I'm gonna mute you. Please, if you can, if you can carry on from this.
Now, we have an uncanny ability of being absent in our presence, being in the same house, providing the best of things to your children, and yet you don't even know what subject they are studying at school.
Oh,
you don't even know what they are struggling with at school. Now, some things do not require courses accredited courses to go and study. You know, our families, our parents, our history and our past, and being Africans, the way we as a communal society raise children. Sikhule siyazi ukuthi you will never stand with a girl in full view of everyone. When a parent comes, you would walk away. You know, there are communal principles that are universally available in our, you know, from our background and from our socialization. Those things can be used. Again, on this subject of where can people get this information, you know, there's a lot of things happening, and people just need to be. There's an organization called Isiseko Family Institute, led by Uprambu. They have a parenting course there, you know, and it is the most powerful parenting course I've ever seen. And these are resources that are available within the kingdom freely for us to embrace and see how we can adopt those. And you may find that not everything is talking to you, but some of the things will talk to you. You will pick up a nugget too. You know, we need to look around. If there is a man who is doing excellently in raising model children, there is a walking encyclopedia. Engage. How is it possible that you are able to raise your children in this way? Because I'm shying away from an academic exercise. You know,
we don't want that anymore.
Once said, umuntu angahamba ayofunda communication, but xa ufika endlini umqhwaba unkosikazi ayowapha, you know, ngelo xesha befunde incwadi ezinkulu, you know, academically, of understanding, kanti ufundela just to understand the subject, not for application. But when you speak to a man who has done well in raising his children, you get live nuggets, you know, you get live experience, you get life stories, you know, which don't just impact what you intend to do, but impact you as a person. Because sometimes it is not what we do, it is who we are.
Wow.
It is who we are, and our hearts being in the right place.
In the right place.
Yes, when it comes to the boy child.
Wow. This is really, really amazing. I'm just trying to get hold of Pastor Melani. I don't know what's happening, but I think we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just thinking here. I know that we've over time. Just let me know if when we have to go, but I think we're gonna drop to an end, at least by past. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. Now, there is a man or parent who's now listening to this thing. We've heard all the issues that you said. Who's saying, man, wow, I'm far away from these things that have been said here. I'm not being intentional. I don't make time. I don't have these life-giving conversations. I don't read up. I don't attend seminars or webinars like this. But today I'm here. And I'm trying, and I want to try and do this thing. And unfortunately for my situation, I divorced from the mother or the father of my child. They are there. What can that person do? What conversations must now happen between these parents who are now wanting to establish the relationship with the child? That's number one. But number two, what do I say? Where do I start with my child, who is 12 years now, 15 years? I've not been involved in his life up until this point. Do I still have hope that I can still recover the lost ground? I can still reestablish my my relationship with my child. What can you say to that man or woman?
The first thing that we need to understand as adults when the relationship goes sour is that whether the mother and the father have divorced, there is a need in a child, be it boy or girl, to have a relationship with their father.
mm,
And that cannot be replaced by anything.
mm,
And when I speak to a number of boys who are suffering with substance abuse,
mm.
and the first thing they ever tell you, what made me to go into the streets to look for a male influence was because I was looking for my father.
Mm,
There were things I needed to hear from my father. There were
mm,
things that needed to be shared by my father. So
mm,
when we divorce, the need in the heart of a child for a father does not go away because me and you have divorced.
mm,
There has to be a parenting principle that we do not deviate from,
mm,
irrespective of how angry I am as a mother with the father and how sour the divorce was. You
mm,
know, we need to be intentional in making sure that the role of a father
mm,
is being played to those children, you know,
mm,
even if I'm playing it from a distance,
mm,
the role of the brother, and the other one needs to allow that space.
mm, mm, mm,
Our
mm,
relationship may have fallen by the wayside, but let me allow my children to experience their father. Let
mm,
me allow them to have a relationship with him.
mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm,
because
mm.
we may have failed in our relationship as husband and wife, but
Mm.
let us not allow the second relationship to fail the relationship to the children. Now you've
Sure.
asked,
Mm,
what do you say?
mm,
What do you say? Maybe before I go to what do you say as a father who's been away, as I'm
mm,
sitting here, I have an appointment with my sister's son,
mm,
you know, with my
mm,
sister's son, whose father is involved in, you know, he's a through and through alcoholic. His dad
mm,
is an alcoholic.
mm,
And the boy is so handy. He's so handy and he's seeing the gap in the family. He
mm,
assists in a car wash in front of
mm,
his mother's house. And
mm.
all of that money he's been getting, he's been saving. Guess
Mm.
what? My brother-in-law stole the card and threw that
Oh,
entire 1,000 rand that the boy was
oh my
saving.
God. Oh
And as
God,
I'm
oh my
sitting
God.
here, I have an appointment
Mm,
to speak to that boy
mm,
and to affirm him
mm,
and to assure him so that
mm,
while his father is going through what he's going through now,
mm,
the boy does not fall into the same pit that his father is going into.
mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm. Sure.
so on the second thing that we need to do when we've been away, you apologize.
Mm,
If I've been away from my children for whatever reason, I did not have a way, or I just ignored this, the first thing you will do is to apologize
mm, mm, mm,
for
mm,
being away and give reasons for why you were being away.
mm,
And chart a path of how are we going to run this relationship now, because there's
mm,
nothing as important as your children knowing that you are available.
mm, 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 mm,
Whether you may not be physically available here, but can they pick up the phone and chat with you? Can they drop you a WhatsApp message? You
mm,
know, are you available? Are you
mm,
thinking of me? Are you
mm,
supporting me? Are you aware of what is going on in my life? How can I,
mm,
how can I at this stage in your life contribute? What would you need from me? You will be amazed at
mm,
what our
mm,
kids will tell you when you ask those kinds of questions. How can I support you? How can I
mm,
best understand what you are going through right now at this stage in your life?
mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm.
this is where you even get to gauge where they are in terms of their thinking, in terms of their outlook on life, and all of those things. Because
Yeah.
many a times we do the talking because we assume we know better.
Mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
know, so that
mm.
that's so that's the second thing,
Wow.
and the third thing is to ask questions. You know,
Mm,
because you are like somebody who has offended someone,
mm,
and the best person to help them heal is the offended one, and
mm,
let it be them who then leads you back into their lives.
Mm,
you know,
mm,
because you said, I am knocking on the door. I'd like to be part of your life, but you guide me how I come back into your life again.
sure. Wow, 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 wow. This is just amazing. When I'm just thinking now of a conversation I had on the radio. I think there's a lady called I just forget the name, but but she was on 702, not 702 Power FM, and so and the lady phoned into her show saying that, the disappointment that my children, she has three children with this guy, the disappointment I have with my children. This guy would phone and give promises, as you were saying earlier on, and say, I'm going to come and take you, we're going to go. The kids would sit down, and then the oldest was a boy, sit there and wait and wait. And the mother would give reasons and all of that. But still, the children are always hoping that this man is going to come. So sometimes it is not that the women or the mothers are making it difficult for this man to access the child. Some go out of their way, are able to deal with their own feelings about the relationship in this person. But this person simply does not take responsibility. And the lady said, this guy would show up on his Facebook page, in parties, buying all these expensive alcohol and so on. But his children were not able to access those resources. How does a mother like that deal with that situation? What can you say to her?
You cannot force someone to grow up.
Mm,
You cannot force someone to take responsibility
mm,
when they are not intending to take responsibility.
mm,
And what is of vital importance is to plug the gaps
mm,
as a mother. You will never be a father.
mm,
There are children, there are boy children who've been raised by mothers who are industry leaders today.
mm,
The best you can do is to do what you can, because you are all that boy has.
mm,
You are all that boy has. So no one can blame you
mm,
because of your effort. And your effort can never be insufficient
mm,
because you are all the boy has.
Wow.
So, and it is very important, Kajeni, to, where possible, as Unzoto had said, that we parent across. You
Oh, my
know,
God.
we parent across, because I've seen this in my space of drugs. You give that little attention to a young man in a drug support group, he becomes overwhelmed with emotions because he has never held a conversation with a man. No man has ever spoken positively in their lives. Now when he experiences that, he realizes, that there's nothing wrong with him. It's just that there was something wrong with his father. And at times, our children become a victim of their absent fathers. They begin to look at the world with hurt, with disappointment, because they are caught in the spiral web, the spider web of their fathers' lives that are not ordered. And we need to surround these boys with positive role models. It could be an uncle, it could be, those people are not constantly going to be there, but the
Yeah.
difference they're going to make, in those moments would make a huge change in the boy's life.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that kind of thing. I just want to now acknowledge the people that have joined, and I'm seeing there on Facebook and right here on YouTube. I see Umakati Mema. Hi. Hello, Sisu, right? Good to see you. And then Ubulse kumye nakho apho. And then we've also Uti availability is key. Unkosinathi Taso. And then I have a mother here, Linda Makiwane Oti Yena. I am a mother of 2 boys. I have been noticing that the older one, 11 years, is constantly comparing himself with the younger one. Oh, what happened now? You know, these things sometimes. And then she says, who's the younger one is 3, and often implying that the younger brother is treated better. How can I reassure him so that he does not grow up a khoka, having this feeling inside, but without dancing to his tune, because he makes demands. My husband often gives in to these demands. And on the other hand, I'm on the one extreme, and this over ngamdana. I'll do what I feel is right for him, and so on. And this is really indeed an issue that we in our homes also experience, where the child sometimes can play one parent's parenting style against another. You know, this is something I'll give you a chance to comment on that. Ubaba Kolombane, hello Sisi. Uti, you cannot force someone to grow up and take responsibilities. She's quoting your words. Is right on the nose, that one. Uzikona Dweza Fagadolo, Uti, the pain of explaining why he didn't come is so painful. And the disappointment on their eyes, the pain, you know, you can sense from reading this message that, you know, usisi uyayiva lento ngaphakathi enhlizweni. Then when you as the mother decide that he must not come anymore, you are called names such as bitter while you're trying to protect your son from being hurt. It must be a very, very difficult place to be. Uwansi Tlanekazi, right? Ukhona usiviwe Mhlomi also watching. If I happen to miss your name here, please apologize. I apologize to you. But we're now wrapping up toward the end here, Mfundisi Wam. I just want us to end on this issue that if you look at government programs and corporate programs that are really focusing on the girl child, what should there be for the boy child? By the way, when we're talking about the boy child, it is not, we're not talking against the girl child. We just for now focusing on this. What can government do? Because I've read up on this issue that this philosophy is affecting even the court system. The court system, for example, if there's a breakdown of a relationship, automatically the child goes to the mother. So, but without getting into all of those things for now, because I think we're going to have to come back and talk about this thing. What should government do in this regard and the corporate sector? We used to have take a girl to child to school to work or something like that, which is great. We need to have that going, but the feeling is that the boy child has been neglected by the powers that be. So we as parents can do so much, but you know, churches, schools, government, companies, how can we all work towards this goal?
We need to have mentorship programs.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have mentorship programs specifically for boys. And this could be some sort of a brothering type of an institution where we come together. I'm sharing my dreams now. Where we come together as fathers with the intention of opening an avenue, a mentorship program for boys, where we take our own boys and we take other boys within our churches and we expose them to things that fathers do with their boys. That program becomes then that little glimmer of hope. You know, for a father-son interaction, father-son camps There are churches who are sending invites for father-son camps. My son's school will be having a father-son camp, where it will just be the father and the son in that camp, and because men have this tendency, we can be together in the same place, but we can easily talk about soccer the whole day. And not delve on the bread and butter issues. We if there was a bring a girl child to work campaign, we need to bring a boy child to school to work campaign. Campaigns that are intentional about the boy child. I have been looking on this beautiful program that actually is assisting matriculants to have matric ball clothing. And 80% of the time it benefits girls. And it is time that that men in corporate, men all over the show could put together something and look out for boys, and make sure that even if it suits that are still in good condition, because ladies hand down gowns, that they're no longer using to these girls intentionally. So it is opening those doors and opening moments of relationships. And I'm stressing relationships. Each program must be a program that is geared towards relationships, so that we connect, because boy children have this tendency of keeping quiet and not communicating. And when that relationship is not there, you will not reach that silent part. You will never know what they are thinking. That is why you will find a boy child has just hung himself in the garage and nobody knew what he was going through, because we struggle sometimes to even connect with them being in at home, being in our own houses, being there as a father on a daily basis. You find this guy does not open up.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Usisi was asking about these two siblings and the other one,
please.
Comparing. Maybe let me throw this in. My 23-year-old, Ulonwabo, still complains about his 16-year-old brother. And what he has picked up is that his mother would respond. And it is the response he wants from the parent who sympathizes with the drama.
Okay.
He knows there is no response that's going to come from a 3-year-old. He has figured that out already. But he knows dad is going to jump in and make me feel better. In fact, that is a habit which is bad, which is going to grow. And it inculcates in his mind that if I say so-and-so is better, somebody is going to jump in and make me feel better. That is manipulation. It needs to be nipped in the bud. If it doesn't get nipped in the bud, Ulonwabo will go to an extent of saying to his mother, "Hey, look, your princess." And Junior is a boy. Junior is a boy, but he's insinuating. Your princess, your preferred child. And all he's being asked, it was Junior's turn to wash the dishes today. It's Lonwabo's turn to tomorrow. And Lonwabo doesn't feel like doing it. Now he says something that is going to invoke a certain feeling from the mother. And eventually my wife uzawuqwashula ahambe ayozihlamba izitya, and Lonwabo has won. That is a very strategic thing of pushing you to where he wants you. You are being managed. So as I was thinking, no, that is not the point. The point is to manage you as a parent. And here, what's needed is consistency. It is your turn to do the dishes. However way you feel about your brother, it is not going to change it. Now you are saying to him, we do not agree with you, even though you are not saying it in so many apparent words. We do not agree with you, but your responsibilities will not be ignored based on how you feel about your brother, because
Right.
life does not go about how you feel.
Wow, wow, wow. Uchilo Omnye on Facebook, what an hour will not be enough. And that
Yeah.
person was correct. And I can see by the interest that is there that we have to come back to this topic. And when we do
Mm.
come back to this topic, we also need to bring the ladies along so that
Yes.
they can be here as well. And by the way, I do want, I'm planning a session to talk with the single mothers of children so that we can also hear their side and their issues. And,
Mm.
because there's so many of these issues, and I promise you guys, those that are watching, that we will come back to this topic much more regularly. We had Tando Melani, Pastor Tando Melani, but unfortunately, due to load shedding, he dropped off. We had Dr. Zondi. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us due to that. And fortunately, Pastor Bue has managed to stick, and he has dropped tremendous amount of powerful bombs here. Sbiya Papa, good to see you, Sisi. Uloyiso Umusi uthi, thank you, elders, I'm learning. Uyabuya upapa uthi, so true, Sibali. Ukhuselo is back. Uthi ungasishinga semva single fathers bawukatyeni. Yes, that's another important piece. Now, in terms of what is being done by various people, from my side, um, these are the things that are in the pipeline. We are talking with a church here where I worship called Rosebank Seventh Day Adventist Church to facilitate a father-child blessing ceremony where fathers would say blessings to their children, the leadership, and spoken to them. And then we are going to carry on doing that so as to make sure that this bond is connected. We're not just going to do it once off and in one church. We're going to do that. So that's an initiative that is going to be coming up. I met with the elder yesterday, and he told me that we're going to finalize it today. This is very, very important that we do it. And secondly, one of the things I see, Lundi, I'm just muting you, man. Okay. One of the things that from my side I'm doing in this regard, I've set up a thing which is called a black man's coach, to coach young people to become high value men. And I'm writing a book about that with my son as we speak. We're hoping that it is going to come out before the end of this year, because I believe that this matter is crucial. In this book, A Gap in the Cloud, I touched on it a little bit in one of the chapters where I was talking about my own father and our relationship and all of those kinds of stuff. Now I'm taking it to connect to my son, and so that we can reflect on how I can help him and many other boys to transition towards that. So those are in the coaching program that I run. It's 12 sessions with a young man where we go through a number of issues: decision making, accountability, relationships, gender-based violence, and all those kinds of things. How do you stand up and become an independent human being on this earth as a man without oppressing anyone? So that is those are some things. And then lastly, from a work point of view, Love Life has a boy-child program. And by the way, in May, we're going to have an International Day of a Boy, International Day of the Boy. I think it's somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, around, I'll check the date, but it's happening in May. So what I'm saying is that we all have to pull our resources towards this thing without neglecting our girls. As we round up, I think I'd like to summarize from what I've learned so far from what is being said. This issue, obviously, it needs a lot of attention, because even Nelly Josie is saying here, fathers who did not have a good example from their own fathers growing up Where do they start to navigate this thing? That is a topic on its own.
Oh, yeah.
As we are seated here, as these men who are seated here, we don't come from a perfect situation. Tando said that, so where do we start? Where do we start to navigate when you had not received it? You had not been blessed with this as an inheritance. So it's another topic that we're going to be looking at the next time we talk about this matter. But what I'm taking away is that presence on its own is not enough.
No.
Because when your presence makes you passive, you're sitting watching TV the whole day, playing games, sitting on your social media platforms, things are happening around you. You do not impact intentionally people around you, especially your children. That presence is as good as absence. I think that's what you were saying there.
Yes.
And what you guys were saying, these need to be replaced by intentional, life-giving conversations that have to build everyone. Because as the man, you have to be seen as an example to give to your children. So I'm now going to give you the last word as we close. And before we do that, I just want to come back to Kuselo Nduboymin and say this issue of single fathers, man, is an important item that we're going to put it all under this series that we're going to be talking about. So please remember that. Uti Ulinda Makiwane, thank you. I'm totally answered, Pastor Bue, on the issue of my two boys. Yes, thank you so much there. Ulerato Kamata Lira, Uti, showers of blessing to this man of God. Continue touching lives. Thank you so much, Lira. Unkosnati Kaso, Uti, I'm blessed. Jesus. He's really feeling blessed. Guys, we don't have time, but we will make time for these kinds of conversations over the next few weeks so that these issues are dealt with. We as a people have got to break the curses of our past so that in the future we can be better people. Let me hand over to you to say your last word, Mfundiswa.
Thank you so much, Kajen. One of the most honorable responsibilities is God giving you a responsibility to be a father or a mother to someone. And one though that responsibility is a responsibility of honor. It is God trusting you with a life. It is God giving you an opportunity to emulate him in that person's life. And as the Black nation, especially as Black men, we have misunderstood that mandate. And we have left children all over, and we've never looked back. And when there are children now who are young men who want to start their own life, and they have no point of reference. And when you look specifically kwindlu emnyama, this is prevalent. And where are our daughters going to get husbands when sityala sishiye singamadoda? This has to be a cry in the heart of God when there is no heritage ezakulandela emveni kwethu. This has to be a cry to the contemporary church, for the church to respond on behalf of society. It has to be a cry on government departments. Jail and courts cannot heal societal pains. We need something more substantive than just punishing. And it starts with going back to the principle of love and giving love and reaching out and fathering beyond those we own biologically. Those who fathered biologically are not our only children. And as men, we need to start looking for opportunities to share ourselves, starting with our own families. to see is there a gap from another man, as Unzoto was saying, care fronting, where we care front our brothers to say that there is a gap here. You are not doing good here. You are dropping the ball here. You are disappointing manhood here. Please shape up here. And we would go and watch matches, Kajeni. We would go to functions with men that we know. We know don't give a rat's backside about their children. And these are people who have no shortage of resources.
Hey.
They have no shortage of resources. And as men, we need to hold each other to account. Because if any relationship we are in with other men does not hold them to account, then that is cheap fellowship. Men need to stop cheap fellowship. We need to start asking each other, banjani abantwana? If awusahlali nabo, ubagqibele nini abantwana bakho? Baphilile na abantwana bakho? Baqhuba njani esikolweni abantwana bakho? Those are the kinds of conversations where fathers start fathering, across, biological lines. Because if this does not happen, I shudder to think what kind of a society are we going to have tomorrow. Sigcwele itorongo ngoku, sigcwele drug rehabs ngoku.
Right
Maninzi
now.
amaphara. In every city kunamaphara, and 99% of them, it's boys.
Hey.
Because when I started, I said, the devil has declared war on the boy child because he knows what God's intention is about the boy child. He knows that this is a prophet and a priest of his household. This is a leader of his home. This is somebody who's supposed to give authority. And if I cut him in his prime, I have destroyed the future family.
Sure.
So we need to start being troubled by what troubles God, because this troubles God. It does trouble God, and if we start being troubled by what troubles God, we will start engaging and starting formations to respond to this sketch. If there was ever another national disaster, it is the topic we are discussing. It's a national disaster.
Yeah. Shobam, hey, I've stolen a lot of your time today, but I don't regret that. It's the best step. It's the best step that I've done. But I really want to thank you, man, for such powerful pearls of wisdom. You just dropping. Tando was here, and then he left, and then you just kept going. And I really want to appreciate and thank both of you for the investment that you are making in making our nation a better place. We've started this with you, Tando, Zondi, and Ketelo. And unfortunately, Ketelo couldn't be here today, but we're going to bring them back. And then, and I want to thank you so much for this, for this time and the pearls that you've given us. And to say, okay, Nanku Uti, Unonkumbuzo, we need summer and winter camps that will teach boys and take them away from the streets, evening talks around the fire. You're right, Sisi, that's good there. Nelly, Uti, God bless the work you do, Sekulati. Thank you so much, Nelly. Blessings to Pastor Bowe and Tando. Thank you for the pearls of wisdom imparted to us today. Uti, that's a great slogan. Thank you so much, Sisi. I think he was just mesmerized by what you were saying there. You are hitting a nerve. Uti nasi speak as a family life. So wait for an invitation, man. You will be called to come and talk soon. Uti national disaster. Sure. Lerato Kamata Ulira Uti, this is too deep. Period. Hold each other accountable to build a better society. Once in Tlaneka's Uti, wow, national disaster indeed. Thumbs up. Tata Vuyani Bue. Funiswam, I don't have words to say to you, and I just want to appreciate you have an appointment and other things to do. So please
Yes.
feel free to go as I give people the last word. But if you want to remain, feel free. I just want to say, colleagues, thank you so much. I'll be in touch with you if you leave before we finish my pastor. Just to say that if anyone wants this book from me, there's a chapter in this book where I talk about this matter. The chapter is called When Your Legacy is Hacked from the Start. I tell my story there and the role that my father played and all of that kind of stuff. Some of us have our legacies hacked from the start, even before we become aware. You can get this book from me by sending me a WhatsApp message on 082 300 7108. 082 300 7108 or at Patrick Gulati at gmail.com. You can send it there, and then I will help you with getting this book. It's 315. And by the way, 30% of this book is now going to go to Love Life as my contribution to the work that we are doing there. So having said that, please feel free to send me suggested topics and speakers that you think we need to interview. We're looking here at talking about issues that make a difference in the life of our society. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night and enjoy the rest of your week until we meet again next time. We're going to advise you about the topics that we're going to be discussing. Please stay in touch. Subscribe to this. Share this discussion that we just had now. Share it and make sure that other people also have access to it. I want to say to you again, thank you so much to this moment of insight and growth. God bless. Thank you. I see you, Blakey. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Bye to all. We can see that. I want to say thank you for taking time to make your comments, your advices, your own ideas are always welcome. Thank you again. Good night. Cheers, guys.